Ending this war the right way makes the world safer. If you end it in a way like we did with Afghanistan, you're setting the world on fire.
Putin will keep going if he's not stopped in Ukraine. And then we will have to put troops on the ground by virtue of our treaty obligations.
Donald Trump was waiting until the talks between Russia and Ukraine today in order to make a judgment on whether or not Vladimir Putin wanted peace. Those talks have happened. Where does he stand, and is he willing to impose additional sanctions?
I'll let the president speak on that himself.
Sure.
Today, the Russian and Ukrainian delegations met in Istanbul, but the Turkish president is suggesting that it's high time that leaders, President Erdogan, President Trump, President Putin, and President Zelensky meet in Istanbul. Is that something that President Trump would support and would be partaking?
Well, the president has said he's open to it if it comes to that, but he wants both of these leaders and both sides to sit down at the table together. And we saw them do that at the urging of President Trump today. But as for how the president feels about those talks and what took place there, I'll let him speak on that.
What's the president's reaction to that Ukrainian drone attack, stunning drone attack on Russian air bases? I'm sure he saw that. What's his reaction?
Well, look, the reaction is this war needs to come to an end. And this war has been brutal from both sides. Too many people have died. And the president wants this war to end at the negotiating table. And he's made that very clear to both leaders, both publicly and privately.
Now to the war in Ukraine and one of the boldest attacks by Kyiv since Russia's invasion. CBS's Lee Kennery is at our London bureau with those details.
Good evening, Jerika. Ukraine's President Zelensky is calling this a brilliant operation and one for the history books. Ukraine targeted the enemy more than 2,500 miles from the front lines.
The drone's eye view of a Russian airfield where bomber after bomber is blown up. More than 40 reportedly destroyed, including nuclear-capable long-range aircraft in one of the most daring attacks of the war. Dubbed Operation Spiderweb and in the works for more than a year and a half. Wow. Dozens of drones rigged with explosives were hidden in the roofs of these empty containers, placed on trucks and smuggled to the perimeter of Russian air bases. Remotely opened and launched. Russia confirmed military airfield across 5 regions were attacked. No casualties were reported. But also earlier today, in regions bordering Ukraine, 2 Russian bridges collapsed, derailing trains, killing at least 7. The cause unclear. Russia has been intensifying attacks too, sending nearly 500 drones into Ukraine in the last 24 hours, the most launched since the war began.
Tonight, President Vladimir Zelensky congratulated his security services, saying he's doing everything he can do to make Russia feel the need to end the war. And Jerika, this comes on the eve of the second round of direct peace talks between Russia and Ukraine, scheduled tomorrow in Istanbul. We'll see what.
No, these peace talks, it doesn't seem like there's going to be peace. They've been talking about this for a couple years now, about coming to the table and having peace talks. Trump, having a new president for the United States, Trump coming in, getting involved, saying, hey, on day one, I'm going to end the war with Russia and Ukraine. I knew it wasn't going to happen. Wars just don't end like that. It takes time, negotiations, everybody in agreement with what they want for their own country and how they're going to benefit from this peace, which kind of sucks to say because the purpose of peace is just to prevent more lives from being taken on all sides. And that's why Trump really wanted to get involved. He was getting sick and tired of hearing about so many innocent people, civilians too, on both sides, getting killed from, these attacks that these leaders are wanting to pursue. And now, Ukraine is using the Trojan horse effect of let's utilize these drones, strap some bombs to them, sneak them through trucks into Russia to attack their planes. And I mean, it worked. And this is going to amp up more security. This is going to amp up more Russian military tactics on how to fight back against Ukraine. I want to check out some more videos on this just because I've kind of been slacking on what's actually been going on with Russia and Ukraine situation. So let's check out some more videos.
Ukraine's domestic intelligence agency, the SBU, carrying out a large-scale operation Sunday, targeting Russian military airfields. Dramatic video shared with ABC News by the SBU shows aircraft being hit and bursting into flames. The attacks carried out at different airfields in 5 Russian regions, some home to Russian strategic bombers. A source within the SBU claims they hit more than 40 military aircraft that they say, quote, bomb Ukrainian cities every night. A source in the SBU tells ABC News the operation had been planned for more than a year and a half. Drones were concealed inside makeshift mobile houses with retractable roofs, which were then placed on trucks. The source said those roofs opened remotely and the drones flown out to strike. Russian officials are also investigating 2 train derailments they say happened after 2 bridges were blown up in separate Russian regions, this near the border with Ukraine. Meanwhile, Moscow continued its massive air assault. The Ukrainian Air Force reported 479 drones and missiles were launched into the country overnight in one of the largest aerial attacks of the 3-year-old war. Amid all of this volatility, Russia has proposed a new round of peace talks to be held in Istanbul on Monday. And 2 U.S. senators who were in Kyiv on Friday have warned Russian President Vladimir Putin is stalling on peace talks while preparing a new military offensive against Ukraine.
Ending this war the right way makes the world safer. If you end it in a way like we did with Afghanistan, you're setting the world on fire.
Putin will keep going if he's not stopped in Ukraine. And then we will have to put troops on the ground by virtue of our treaty obligations.
The senators say a sweeping U.S. sanctions bill backed by 82 of their colleagues could be the last chance to sever the economic lifeline fueling Russia's war.
And honestly, this isn't even really a 3-year war. This conflict between Russia and Ukraine actually started in 2014. And I know we spoke about this in one of my earlier videos when I first started the YouTube channel. And, we really don't want to get the American, military involved with this war. We don't need to sacrifice our citizens of this country to make peace in these other 2 countries that aren't coming to an agreement with peace. We'll keep an update and see what's going to happen within the next couple days, weeks, and see if there is a resolution to, coming to an agreement with the peace talks. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Till next time. Peace out, everybody.